I was just looking at the chat and see Leanne just crazy ass saying that she's drunk as fuck, but she's here. Thank you for coming. In any way, shape, or form, we appreciate you being here. Drunk and high, whatever it is. Hi, everybody. So looking at the clock, I'm either 5 minutes early or 25 minutes late because originally this was going to start at 3, but I was busted through the door at 3 after getting stuck behind an accident. So this is the best I could do, which is 5 minutes earlier than the time I rescheduled it for. But good to see you guys. Candace finally got a chance to finish the column, which she could not do um, by even yesterday. She was just getting back Sunday morning. I didn't know that. I didn't know when they was coming back. I didn't even think to check. But anyway, she couldn't get it done on Sunday, so I moved it to Monday. But she still was it still wasn't done. But it came. She emailed it this morning. So here we go. We have our usual, according to this cover sheet, our usual 25 questions. What I've done this time is I put a QR code there for people who want to submit a question. So this way, it's right there in their face and you can see it. You just click that, well, scan it or whatever you do, and then click the link that shows up on your phone. And then you can submit your advice question for this show. It's right there. Even on the replays, you'll still be able to see it and scan it. So I thought this might be helpful to get some more people involved. Because sometimes it seems like the same people keep sending in different questions, but no, whatever. Question number one. This is a young lady, 20 to 34 from Philly. Summary of the issue. How do I handle my boyfriend getting me nothing for Christmas? Oh, yeah, Christmas just passed. We always get a lot of letters about people with messed up Christmas gifts after Christmas. So my boyfriend and I were both 34, have been together for a year and a half. We're very serious and have discussed marriage and children. We didn't get each other gifts for Christmas last year, but that's mainly because he didn't mention anything. So I assumed he wasn't getting me anything, and I was right. But now that we live together with my two children from my previous marriage and they love him, I thought things would be different. For Christmas, I bought him tickets to one of his favorite comedians, great seats, which were about $400 total. I told him 3 weeks ago I bought them, that I got him something really good, and he's going to be so excited. I must have mentioned it at least 3 times. Money is also tight right now for me, not him, but I want to do something nice for him. So today, Christmas morning happens. I give my kids all their gifts. Then I hand him his, and he is shocked when he opens it. He tried to save himself and tell me that he bought me a sweater, that the sweater he bought me on his business trip 3 weeks ago was my quote early gift. I'm not an idiot. I held it together for the kids, but while they're in another room, I started sobbing. I do so much for everyone, and I got not a single gift for Christmas from anyone. It was so hurtful. He could have even taken the kids to Target to pick up something cheap out for me, and I would have been happy. He clearly felt bad and was hugging me and apologizing, but now I'm starting to rethink my entire relationship. How do I handle this situation? Well, yeah, every year, girl, every year, Ash, it's the same thing. I should have expected. I don't know why I was just blanked on it. I'm gonna say this. Your man is a prick. I mean, that's just selfish as fuck. I mean, I just can't even imagine a man living in a house with young children that doesn't think about, the Christmas gift thing that you guys do, opening the presents and stuff, and you not having anything to open from anybody in the house that you take care of every single day, 365 days a year. And he couldn't think of that to do that for you. I'm with you. I mean, I'm not saying that I would necessarily break it off yet, but I would definitely that would be a super red flag for me. I mean, like, I would definitely pull back on doing so much stuff for him because it just seems like he's taking you for granted. It's not, the relationship isn't special and important enough for him to think about you and little things that might make you happy. It didn't even cross his mind. So, I mean, my father, who was, I have to say, he was such an asshole. He didn't even think about his own birthday. Okay, when we would give him little presents and stuff, he would always look shocked because he didn't. And this was the truth. That man did not think about birthdays and all that kind of stuff. Not for himself, but I tell you what, he always came through when it was my birthday. One year, he got me these jade earrings. And then when I turned 12, he got me some diamond earrings. and some candy and some flowers. And he told me that he wanted to be the first man in my life to give me candy and flowers and jewelry, like precious jewelry. I still have them. They were like, small earrings because I was just a kid. So they weren't going to like, get me no like $5,000 earrings or nothing, but they were still diamonds. They were still flowers, candy. He gave me some roses and a box of Seeds chocolate. I'll never forget it. So, I mean, there's a side of him that was very thoughtful and considerate and stuff when it came to people around him. But as far as himself, he didn't think about himself at all like that. So if I know that the asshole that my daddy was could go and make that little extra effort, certainly your husband, the boyfriend, whoever he is, baby daddy, can do the same. Yeah, he was shocked that we thought to, yeah, I'm telling you, because when he was a kid, they never celebrated his birthday. He was the youngest, and everybody was much older than him. And yeah, his childhood wasn't that great, but we tried to show him love when we could. When I first learned how to cook, I learned how to cook, stuff that I knew he would like. And he was just so happy. And you think about, I don't know. I mean, like I said, there's half of him that was just a straight asshole. That's who I take after the most, way more than my brothers. Like all the cussing and the bad temper and the wanting to commit violence and shoot people and stuff. I got that straight from my father. But the fact that I'm here, I care about everybody that comes to this channel. I don't want you to repeat those mistakes that other people make or that I made myself. I want you to be happy. I want you to be fulfilled. I want you to be loved. I want you to live smart. I want you to make smart choices that are in your best interest. I want you to take care of yourself. Those are the traits similar to him too. So there's so much. What are you talking about? So it's just I don't understand how your guy can be like that with you and how you could feel good about being in a relationship. What I want you to do is talk to him though. You need the guys need to have a conversation. It's great that he apologized and all this kind of stuff, but what you need to do is sit down and tell him because if you haven't had this conversation, men be playing stupid. So you have to make sure that he has all the information he needs to make a better choice in the future. So you sit down and say to him, how bad I felt that everybody in this house was taken care of except for me, how bad I felt that nobody, mainly you, because the kids are small, thought about me on Christmas. All that I do for you every single day, 365 days a year, and you can't put aside one day to think about something for me on the day when everybody else is opening presents. I don't get anything. I want you to understand how disappointed I am, how furious I am, and how much I'm giving you the side eye right now because you're coming across like a selfish, unthoughtful, just ridiculous prick right about now. And it's making me rethink this relationship. Why am I giving to a man who doesn't even think about me on a holiday like Christmas? And I want you to go away and I want you to think about that shit because if you can't come up with a good answer that I can accept, then this shit here, just start packing your stuff to get the fuck out because this is a very telling red flag for me that you don't think about me at all. And that's the conversation I would have with him. That's the conversation that I would have. So, you have to mean it though. Don't just go mouthing off and, talking a bunch of boundary stuff when you have no intention of following through. This has to be, thanks you, Lynn. This has to be a conversation that you mean every single word of it. You do not cry while you're talking to him. You choke that shit back. You can cry when you're done. Get in your car and drive to the park or something, and then you cry over there. But don't you dare cry in front of this man. You make your voice as steely as possible, and you look him dead in his eyes, and you tell him to his face that he ain't shit. Okay? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. He's just taking it for granted, like I said. Like she's like a shoe or something, some old slippers that she just gonna be there regardless and stuff. And so you have to let them know, oh no, it's not like that. You got one more chance. And if you don't come through like Johnny Rocket on every single fucking holiday, you better make up some holidays, motherfucker. And I better get some nice gifts. So that's what, this is his last hurrah. And you let him know that. So you treat me like this, like you got one more time to treat me like I'm some second class citizen in this household and we're done here. And you let him know. Shit, fuck that motherfucker. I don't know. I just cannot with these dudes. I just that this would I don't know, I'm saying I probably wouldn't break up with him, but knowing me with my temper, I would have stood right up and said something right then and there, like, "What you a monkey motherfucker, you ain't shit. Where's my present? As a matter of fact, give me them tickets back. Imma sell that shit on eBay." He wouldn't have got a present. Nope. You did good to just cry. See, I would take him back. Even if I tore him up in his face, he wouldn't get no present from me. Diamond earrings Tuesday. Well, that sounds like fun. I should put mine on, huh? Let's move on to question number 2. Now that was really sad. She's 28 to 34 from London. The male is 50 to 56. Ooh, that's a big age gap. Maybe that's her daddy. Summer issue. My partner of 2 years makes everything a struggle to the point that he has a tantrum every time I cooked, and it's ruined Christmas 2 years in a row. Here we go with another Christmas drama. This is the second Christmas this 52-year-old man has ruined. The first year he locked me in the house when my mom was visiting for Christmas dinner because he kept trying to clean things as I was using them to make dinner. This year everything was going fine because I was cooking as he did errands, but when he came home, he got upset I hadn't cleaned the stove yet because it was still hot and literally started foaming at the mouth, yelling at me, and even put the ham that was thawing in the garbage and threw some of my juices outside. He claims I'm not cleaning well, but he always says this before I'm even finished cooking, and I'm cleaning as I go. I think he might be an alcoholic. I recorded his tantrum. He threatened to leave me because he told me not to record him, but if I don't, he mischaracterizes the situation. He is altogether very aggressive lately and lies about upcoming plans and then uses them to punish me. He said no presents this year because we were going on holiday, and then as soon as it was booked, he started threatening its cancellation and then told the police I stole money when it was just the money he prepaid me for the now canceled vacation while I was waiting on a refund from the Airbnb. Despite us not going anywhere, he still has gotten me nothing for Christmas while I got him thoughtful gifts. Should I just leave? I care about him, but hardly recognize him anymore. Girl, you better care about yourself. See, any one of these things would have sent me running out the door. First of all, I'm cooking and you're going to come in and try to clean the shit that I'm trying to use to cook with? Get out. And then, I have to keep my butcher block of knives. I would have had to pull one out and say, I said, get out. Okay, so then by the time that was over, I would have been packing to move. And then, so then he come in and he gonna throw your ham in the garbage and your bottles of juices outside. And then he throws crazy tantrums and then he lied. He got the police involved on you. See, any of those would have been, I mean, any one of those is red flag enough for you to get out of the situation. And yet you spend the time writing to me talking about Christmas presents. This man treats you like you are a donkey shit, and you still there. So I don't understand why you even wasted time writing to me talking about you care. How can you care about somebody who treats you like this? Are you out of your mind? Oh my God. I don't even know. I didn't know what to get my daughter. I just gave her $50. I pulled out the ATM for. Okay, my mic muted itself for some reason. Yeah, I don't know. She's better than me. Let's move on. Question number 3. This is a female 20 to 34. She's from Louisville, Kentucky. So I have an issue. Is it appropriate for an engaged man to comment on other women's looks? Hmm. Well, let's see what the story is. I'm inclined to say, well, it depends. Is it really okay for an engaged man to comment on other women's looks? Like, I don't care if he does it amongst his boys, but to me, it feels disrespectful. Yesterday, my fiance said, I went to a barbecue. It was fun. Joe brought his girlfriend. She's very pretty. Okay, that's that's so. In another separate time, he'd point to a random chick and say stuff like, "Oh, she's the type of girl that I used to go out with." Oh, hell no. Pointing to another girl, mind you, I look nothing like her. Do you think it's appropriate or am I being insecure and jealous? How would you handle the situation, Deb? Okay, the first one was like, whatever. I mean, he's congratulating his boy on having a good looking girlfriend. That's no big deal. That don't bother you. That's fine. And another, that one when he's pointing to some random chick and say, oh, she's the type of girl that I usually go out with. Then I would say, well, the door's open for you to go back to that type since I don't fit it. You like that type so much. There she is. And like what I did one time with a guy, he was staring at this girl. So I got up and went over and talked to her. I said, I think he wants to meet you. Do you want me to introduce you? And she looked at him, she looked around me and she looked at him. She said, no, he's not my type. I said, okay, I'll let him know. So I went back. I said, I asked her if she wanted to meet you. And she said, you're not her type. And he just looked he just looked at me like I was crazy, because he's like, "But I'm supposed to be here with you." I said, "Yeah, you are supposed to be, but since you're staring at all these other women, obviously that's not really what the case is, right? So I'm just trying to hook you up." I got my purse and I left. I was at Jeffrey's Inner Circle. I'll never forget it. The old location where they used to be in Jack London Square. I mean, really? Did you think I was gonna be jealous? Did you think I was going to start trying to like play up to you? Those are the usual reason why dudes do that kind of stuff. But there I'm gonna be contrarian. I'm gonna fuck you over. I'm gonna mess your mind up before I leave. And so that's what I did. So I just looked at the girl. She was cute. She was cute. And I don't never like hate on other girls and say, oh, that because she looks cute or anything. So I just went over and just told her, he keeps staring at you. He thinks you're pretty. He want to meet you. What do you think? And now when she checked him out, she's like, oh no. She might have said that because she saw him sitting with me. I don't really know. Because I was all prepared to tell her, well, girl, that's my cousin. You know how black folks do. Everybody our cousin. So that's my cousin. And they go, it ain't nothing. I mean, it was only like our second date. It wasn't no big deal. But yeah, we didn't have a third. Let's move on. Question number 4. This is a male, 20 to 34, from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Summary issue. Was I wrong to cancel a family trip after I realized they were expecting me to pay for everything? Y'all be laughing, but I'm telling you, I used to terrorize these guys around here. Something's wrong with me. Anyway, so he says, my family planned a weekend trip and asked if I wanted to join. I agreed because it sounded nice and I assumed everybody was contributing equally. As planning continued, it became clear they expected me to handle the hotel booking, the rental car, and the cost of most meals because I earn more than they do. Mind you, no one asked me directly. They just kept saying things like, oh, you can put it on your card and we will figure it out later. In the past, later never came. I finally asked what the cost split would be. The conversation got awkward, and someone joked that I should treat everyone since I am doing well. That moment made me realize I was being invited more as a sponsor than a participant. I told them I was no longer going. Now they say I ruined the trip and made money an issue when it should not matter within family. How should I handle the fallout? Then you should say, well, you pull out the receipts from the other time when you sponsored a trip for them and say, well, soon as y'all pay me back this money here, then I'll fund another trip. Until then, I'm not paying for shit for you. You're not my children. You're grown adults with your own jobs and your own kids and your own wives and husbands. You pay for your own vacations. And then I would, just remind them that they already played that trick several times before and that you're not stupid and you're not going to fall for it again. So, and in the future, if you want to go on vacation, I suggest you go. If you want to like pay for your parents or something like that to come with you, you could do that. But see, this kind of little slick trick game like this little hood rat stuff, that would to me that is over. Don't ask me for nothing. Don't even ask me for a ride. Don't nothing. I'm not exerting any more of my resources towards you because you think you're slick. And so, yeah, that's how that would go. Hey, Mo, long time no see. Yeah, this is these people are. I keep changing the time on my show because I told you since the time changed, I keep getting sleepy. I get sleepy earlier and then I be in the bed. So at the time the show would normally be starting, I'm taking a nap. So I can't, at 6 o'clock it's dark and it's cold. And then and so then I have to do the show early before I get sleepy. So let's move on. Let's do question 5. This is a female, 22 to 27, from Charlotte, North Carolina. Summary of issue. My roommate is pissed after I told her she could not use my streaming accounts after she locked me out of my own profile. Dad, my roommate and I used to share streaming accounts because we were both trying to save money. Well, you in the same house, that makes sense. The agreement was simple. We each used separate profiles. But last month, she changed my profile name to hers and added her friends to my login. When I asked what happened, she said she was reorganizing things. Then she changed the password and, quote, forgot to tell me, end quote. When I confronted her, she said it was not a big deal and she would fix it eventually. After 2 weeks, nothing changed, so I reset everything and removed her access. She called me controlling and said I betrayed her trust. Really? Now she claims I ruined our shared system, even though she was the one who locked me out of my own account in the first place. What the hell do I do now? Laugh in her face and tell her, give her like a spreadsheet to show her the ways that she's talking about somebody betrayed trust. You show her what she did. Okay, change my profile name to yours. Uh, Adding friends to my account under my login that I did not give you authorization to do. Uh, Locked me, changed my password on my account that I pay for. So that's 3 strikes you out, and that's why you're not gonna get access to my account anymore. You wanna stream and have internet and stuff, get your own account, and that's how it's gonna stand. And anything that you share with her that, sh that she pays for, that you were sharing with her, remove yourself from it and get your own. So y'all have your own thing. Well, she didn't cancel it, but she just reset everything. So she reset all, the access, the password. So if you change the password, they can't use it anyway. They can't see nothing. So she did the best thing. Sometimes it's good to do that every now and again, because people be hacking into your accounts and stuff like that. So I just make it a routine practice to change my passwords on pretty much everything every 90 days or so. And I don't know if anybody's using it or not. Don't care. But still change the password anyway because you just never know. Then that way, I keep them guessing. I have about 12 passwords. I just kind of so even if I have to guess, it's going to be one of them 12. Might be 13. But whatever it is, I have like this list and I, just pick one of those and then I recycle and pick a different one and, like that, just go down the list. So I'll always be able to get back in my accounts, even if I have to use recovery email, I'm gonna still get in my account, but you ain't gonna get in it. And that's how that is. Wow, this is unbelievable. She just really was doing the absolute most. Question 6, we got 25 questions today, as usual. Up in the corner, you'll see that QR code. That's if you want to submit a question to this show. You just scan that QR code and it'll take you right to the advice submission form. You fill that out and press submit, send, whatever it says. And then the question will go over and Candace can review it and decide if it's good enough, interesting enough, or applicable enough to a wide variety of people to appear in this column. This is a young man, 28 to 34, from San Diego. Summer issue. Was I being an ass for quitting a date on the spot? I'm a 32-year-old tech dude and was my first date with a 27-year-old woman. 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. It was dinner at a patio-style restaurant and it was going well. What I didn't like is that she put her phone on the table as soon as she arrived, but she wasn't checking it, so whatever. The issue was drinks and appetizer arrived, and I moved her phone to give the waitress some space. The recording app was running, and I reacted in shock. Why the fuck are you recording this? Then I stood up, paid, and went home. She is now calling me an asshole and abusive over social media. Her main point is that I left her there when we had previously talked about me giving her a ride back home after the date. Well, you paid for the food, so the money that she would have had to pay if she paid her half, she could use that for an Uber. Like, why would she be using recording of his voice? People be doing all kind of shady shit with people's voices now with this AI stuff. You know, I'm with you. I would have got up and left it, but because you had her phone in your hand, you should have deleted that recording. That's what you should have done before you gave her the phone back. But you didn't. You probably wasn't thinking that far, but that's what you should have done. Okay, so anyway, let's see. You ride back home after date, and also rude as hell for raising my voice and using words, which, okay, I'm a black man raised in South Central LA, so of course I did. That's right. But it was a shocking experience, and I really think it was a natural reaction to that bullshit. Was there a better way to handle it? Not really. Just like I said, the only thing that you didn't do that I would have done was you had her phone in your hand, you could see the app was running. So you should press stop and delete so that the recording would, it wouldn't have saved. And then you could then do the cussing and then do the getting out because you had the phone in your hand. So you had the golden opportunity while you were saying, what the fuck is this? Stop, delete, and then say, all the rest of the stuff that you said, then pay the bill and then left. So, you just left out one step that I would have done. But as far as her going on social media and calling you an asshole and all that stuff, all you have to do is go back and under thing on the comments or do what they call it where you share and repost it or whatever. And you can just say, I did that because she was sitting there secretly recording me. And I have no idea what she was planning to do with this recording of my voice. Whatever it was, since you were trying to do it in secret, it was some shady shit. And so I got up and left. I don't want to deal with no shady ass bitches. And that's all you have to do. Since you're from South Central, I already know you got it in you to be a savage. You better let that out and ream this hoe. Psh, fuck her. Question number 7. This is a male, 42 to 49 from Columbus, Ohio. Summary issue. I heard your video about motherhood and I wanted to share from the male perspective. I'm exhausted being a parent. Yeah, well, uh-uh. My wife and I were having some intimacy issues and some financial issues, but we had a long talk and that all went away. Basically, my wife felt like we were broke and we were unable to dig ourselves out of that hole without some help, but didn't want us to rely on anyone else for that help either. So we talked and we now have a different system. My wife is a stay-at-home mom while I'm at work. She takes care of our 2 kids, gets them to school, picks them up, etc., etc. She works very hard. Our kids are 5 and 7. Now, when I get home around 5, we all eat supper together and then she goes to work. She does gig work from like 6 to 11, so I'm on charge of the kids at night. Think like DoorDash, Uber Eats, that kind of thing. So even though I have a full-time job, I also mostly feel like a stay-at-home dad as well. Motherfucker, for a few hours a night, you feel like a stay-at-home dad. You said 6 to 11, so even if she leaves at 5:30 and gets back at 11:30, that's only 5 hours a day, and the kids asleep most of it. So where in the what fuck are you a stay-at-home dad? You tripping. With my wife, the kids will go to sleep at their bedtime, but with me, they are worried about their mom and toss and turn for like an hour and say, "Where's mommy? Is she okay?" Until they finally fall asleep an hour or two past their bedtime. So just tell them to shut up and go to sleep. They already know where she is, and she'll be home just like every other night and to be quiet. That's all you have to do. I mean, why are you feeding into that? Then she feels the weekends are her real work days and will work all day. Sometimes she will start working at 7 and not get home for the night until around 11, but she'll come home off and on throughout the day to eat lunch or supper and just help out when she isn't getting good offers. My wife is okay with getting 6 hours of sleep a night, but I just can't do it. Now that I'm in my 40s, I need 8 to 9 hours every night, but that doesn't happen. My wife is older than me, yet feels rested after 6 hours, so it's just the way some people are, I guess. My paycheck goes entirely for paying for our bills, rent, utilities, car payment, etc. But my wife's money goes to saving. She's been able to save up quite a bit, but she says it's not enough, so this schedule continues. We still make a little time for ourselves here and there, like we might watch a movie one night or something. So our relationship is doing okay now. It's just taking care of 2 kids is so exhausting. I don't know what to do. I don't know that I really have a question for you. This is more of just a rant, I guess. I'm sure things will get better as my kids get older. I just need to hold out to make it over this hill. Also, I'm applying to many better jobs every day, even though I like my current job because I feel it would help our situation for me to make more. But I haven't gotten as much as an interview yet. Being a parent is so tough. Yeah, it is, especially you only do it on the weekends and 5 hours a night, which really is only 3 hours because the kids in bed and you say they toss an hour or two. So that means you doing it for 3 hours a day during the week when she goes to work and then on the weekend. Yeah, and your wife doing, your kids are older, they going to school now. She could get a part-time regular job where she drops the kids off in the morning and then she goes to her work and then she gets off and then she picks them up and goes home, makes dinner, whatever y'all do in the evenings. That's what you guys should be working on because this schedule here is not sustainable. So she's not spending any time with the kids on the weekend and during the week, they're at school. So I mean, I could see if they were toddlers and little kids and they was at home, but they're at school all day. So I'm not why she need to be a stay-at-home mom now. They're in school. So y'all need to rethink what's going on here. Yeah, it is. It doesn't make sense if you have two kids and they have to be in daycare. You need a whole separate job to pay for that. So I mean, unless your wife would be making grand theft money, it's more sensible for one of the parents to stay at home with if you got two or three little kids, because them daycare costs eat you alive. But they're in school now, so both of them. So what's the problem? You need to sit down and have a talk with her about this. This don't make any sense for her to continue with this schedule. She's gone with the kids at night, and then all weekend when they're out of school, when she should be around to bond with her kids and her husband. So y'all better rethink this. Question number 8. This is a female, 42 to 49, from Manchester, England. Summary of issue. Let's say your adult daughter is seeing a married man. What would you do or say, if anything? Wow. Hope you are finally well, Deb, but this is my issue. Yeah, finally. My daughter's 27. She has a very responsible job and in her own home. She's lovely. We have a good relationship and we talk every day. She moved apartments in June and met this man. He's 47, the same level as her work wise, so it's not a superior or anything. Anyway, I found out that she's been sleeping with him. Not tricky for me to work it out, to be honest. Like I said, we are close, FaceTime constantly, and she's been suffering with mention-itis for a while, which suddenly stopped. She also told me he fancied her and was making this clear, etc., etc. My daughter is single right now after breakup earlier in the year. This man is long-term married with two teen children. So I'm obviously disappointed, and to be honest, I'm surprised at her. She's a moral person and a real girl's girl, so I'm shocked that she's doing this to a man's oblivious wife, who she's actually met quite a lot. Okay, your daughter is a hoe. I'm sorry. A lot of women get it, they feel like they got tricked into it because they don't know the woman and they didn't know that, he had somebody like that. Or they know that the dude is married but they don't know the wife. They don't socialize with her. They never talked to her, never met her. But your girl sees the woman and running this game right in her face. It's just the nastiest kind of woman that would do something like that. I'm sorry. You say your daughter's lovely, but your daughter's not. Your daughter's a bitch, and a hoe, and trifling. Okay? You probably don't want to hear this, but you asked for my opinion, and I'm giving it to you. Only the hoest of the hoes will do some shit like this right in a woman's face, pretending to be her friend and shit, all in her face while fucking her husband. So your assessment of your daughter is tainted with your mother window, your mother glasses. You need to take them off and look at her for who she is, which is a hoe, like I said. So she said, I've spoken to her, expressed my feelings, said all the usual. I've gone in quite hard, not as hard as I would. Told her she's on a ride to nothing. It'll cause all sorts of career issues, potentially, although it's not against any work rules to do this at her job. Her colleagues will all know this is a given. They'll think they're being all discreet, but we know how it goes. And I've stressed just how concerned I am about his wife and children. This is clearly not his first rodeo, and she's clearly been very flattered by the attentions of what she sees as a sophisticated older man. I, however, see him for what he is. So my question to you is, what would you do? She shut me down completely and won't discuss it. And yep, totally fair as she's an adult. But she loves her job. She's on a great path at work. And I can't bear to see her potentially make this very difficult for herself and again his wife. Ugh. It's not my business, I know. So do I just say nothing further? No, nope. You know what I would do if it was my daughter? I would say, you got one time to stop this. I'm gonna go to his wife and I'm gonna tell her. And you know what's gonna happen? She's gonna go to your job and you're gonna be fucked up at your job. He's gonna be fucked up at his job and you're gonna be mad at me forever. But you know what? I don't care because I didn't raise you to treat people like this. Those kids are gonna be devastated. And if he was doing it with somebody else and that she didn't know, that's one thing. But I'm your mother. And I did not raise my daughter to be a trifling two-bit piece of shit hoe like your ass is acting right now. So this is it. You break up with him, and I want to see proof that it's done, or I'm going to go to his wife tomorrow. Okay, so you decide. No, and I'm serious right now because first of all, I don't want to be, it's like, this is my moral code, and I don't care if I'm related to you or not. If I know you doing some shit that I would never do and cannot condone, and you're gonna be in my face trying to pretend like you my friend, see, I feel like if you would do that to somebody else while pretending to be their friend, you would do it to me. Or you would do it to your sister. Or you would do, if you was a boy, you would do it to your brother. Or these days you might be your sister too. You don't never know about these kind of things. So, when I look at people, you look at somebody like that, that's their character. Okay. Whether you birth them or not, that's their character. And if that character is the complete opposite of what I raised you to be with the morals and values that were instilled in you, then it's going to not only make me feel like a failure as a parent, it's going to make me give you a whole bunch of space because there's something wrong with you. The way that you're acting is like a hoe, like I said, and I'm not going to tolerate that. You can't come to my house. You can't be around nobody I know. I don't want you around. I don't want you around because there's something wrong with you. If you would make that choice and think that that was fun. The main thing that I'm really having a problem with is that she does it to the woman's face. Do you know how trifling that is? I mean, that just takes it to a whole new level for me. I just could not. So yeah, I would tell it. Now it would be up to the wife if she wanted to do anything about it. You know what I mean? But I would feel bad if I didn't make sure that she knew. This is what your husband is doing, and this is what my trifling ass daughter is doing. And I just want you to know. And would my daughter be mad? Yes, it is, Leandra. It's like, would my daughter be pissed? Probably. Would her bosses them stay the whole job would know how trifling they were, both of them. It wouldn't just be her, they both would be trifling because he's married and she knows he's married and she messed with him, so they're both guilty. It'd be one thing if she didn't know, but she does know, and she even knows his wife. So, that's where it takes the trifling to like double trifling level. I don't even know what to say. Hold on a second. I was working on the document before. I just noticed this was last night. I forgot to save it. What is this thing called? Hold on a second. This would be awful if I lost this for a client. Ooh, if I had to start over, that would be horrible. Terrible. Oh, okay. Whatever. They date distant relatives? Yeesh. You live in hillbilly country? What's going on there? That's kind of gross. Let's look at question number 9. So you want to know that's what I would do, Mom. Question number 9. This is a female, 42 to 49, from Stoke-on-Trent in the UK. Some of issue. My son's girlfriend doesn't wash. We have a bit of a delicate situation here. Our son's girlfriend is currently living with us for an indefinite period of time. We don't mind her being here, but the problem is that she hardly ever showers or washes her clothes. As a result, she gives off a strong body odor which is becoming unbearable. It has gotten to the stage where I dread giving her lifts anywhere because of the smell in the car. I can't even smell when she's been in a room, let alone when she's still in it. I know some of it is her clothes, so I managed to wash some by saying I needed to make up a load. I've shown her how to use the washing machine, and my son also knows how to use it. He washes his own clothes and asks her if she needs anything washed, but she always seems to say no. About a month after her being here, I decided to raise the issue with my son as it felt someone needed to say something to her in case she was unaware. How's she going to be unaware if she walking around killing people with that phone? For context, she hasn't had the best upbringing and may not have been encouraged into good habits. I know, Ash. It's like every column is somebody funky. Uh, she may not have been encouraged into good habits. He said he is unaware of that he is aware of the problem, but that it didn't really seem to bother him. I suggested he have a word with her about it, but I don't think he has. She is smelling particularly bad at the moment. It was awkward when we had to go to my mom's for Boxing Day, as I was very aware of her body odor smell. No one said anything, but they wouldn't, would they? My son showers daily and has shown her how to use the shower. Very occasionally, she does have one. So it isn't the case that she feels uncomfortable showering in someone else's house. She seems at home in every other way. I'm now getting to the stage where I'm tempted to just run her a bath and invite her to hop in. She has come down with a really bad cold at the moment, so I could maybe say a bath would do her some good. It really doesn't solve the problem long term, though. Am I being unreasonable to insist that my son address this with her? It's getting us down. By us, I mean me, my husband, and his sister. Okay, first of all, what the fuck are you doing? You are the woman of that house. That's your house, and that funky bitch is in your house. So what would you want to know how I would handle it? I would have sat her down. I said, look, you are stinking. Your clothes stink. You stink. And you are killing everybody's nose and ear. In order for you to continue to stay here, you need to bathe at least every other day. Your clothes need to be washed at least once a week, all of them. All of them that are dirty, at least once a week. You are not going to be stinking up my house by staying here. I don't know what the hell is wrong with you or your nose, but you're killing us. You're killing us. We smell your ass in every room. I didn't want to put you in my car because you funk up my car. So what you're gonna do is do what I said. I want to see you in the tub or in the shower every other day. You're gonna wash your hair, you're gonna wash your ass, and you're gonna wash your clothes. Because I'm tired of smelling this funk. Now you think I wouldn't say that? I don't understand people's lack of a spine, especially when it's in a house. She's living off of you. She's living with you in your house where you paying all the bills. She's eating up all your food, and she's stinking you out of your own house where you're uncomfortable in your own house because of her fumes. So it's like, and knowing me, I would give her a nickname and start calling her Pepe Le Pew or Pepita Le Pew. Something I would have to tease her in some kind of way to let her know, you that's just ridiculous. Yeah, and her the son talking about, he don't really smell it. You nasty too, but at least he bathes and washes his clothes. She don't do nothing. But then that's what I tell her. Said it's disgusting for a young lady. She having her menstrual cycle and stuff, and you walking around here all funky. Who you think want to smell that shit? I mean, for real. And if this is how you want to live, then you got to get out of my house because I'm tired of smelling this. So those are the two choices. Either you get the fuck out or you're going to bathe every other day and you're going to wash your clothes at least once a week. Twice a week is preferable. It's just a load. You don't have that much shit. Put that shit in the washing machine and wash it. And then I would sit up and I'll say, you got the, till the end of this week to uh, get your shit together. I don't want to smell you in my house like this anymore. And that would be that. Would her feelings be hurt? Probably. Would I care? Nope. Because my nose would be relieved. My nose would be happy. He might like it, just like the girl was talking the other day. Remember that letter where she was talking about her dude liked to smell her? He didn't want to smell her washed and he liked to smell her feet and stuff. Might be a little of that going on. I don't know. But it's irrelevant because then both of them need to move out. But if she's in my house and I'm being offended by the smell, then I'm going to speak up because I don't like it. And it's my house. So anybody who want to be stinking, you got to get out of my house. Those are your only two. That's the two choices. Either you don't stink or you get out. So pick one. It's real easy. I don't know why you writing this long letter and acting all chicken shit and stuff. You're a grown ass woman with a kid that's half adult, and you sitting up here acting like you can't speak up to some bitch that's living in your house. Pfft, I just don't get it. Yeah, dogs do they always be smelling booties and stuff. It's just amazing. Question number 10. This is a male, 35 to 41 from North York, Canada. Summer issue. When is it okay to push your child into something that makes them anxious? Full disclaimer, I am not a parent, but I have often found myself comparing my own upbringing to what I think I would and should do as a parent. I had a challenging relationship with my parents and was recently thinking about a small moment from my childhood where I was pushed into something that made me really uncomfortable. Okay, so you 35 to 41 age group and you thinking about some shit that happened 30 years ago when you was a kid. Y'all see what I'm talking about men? They just cannot let shit go. Just whatever little hurts they endured as young people, it goes with them for their whole life. But let's see what I just mental. No wonder y'all is crazy. Okay, he says in high school I was a strong student. Okay, he's in his 40s now, and he talking about high school. I was a strong student academically, but my mother wanted me to branch out into certain academic clubs that I had zero interest in, mainly because the thought of them gave me intense anxiety. When I was about 15, she forced me to choose one of two academic clubs to join, and both required a high degree of public speaking and improvisation. It was a nightmare for me, but I picked one and went off to regional competition where I proceeded to compete and then have full-blown panic attack in the bathroom afterwards. It was horrible. I hated every second of it, and honestly, that anxiety followed me through so many other speaking experiences for years. Many years later, I've worked through a lot of this fear, but it wasn't really until I was in my 20s and had more life experience under my belt. From her perspective, I know she was trying to push me out of my comfort zone and thought it would look good on my resume for universities. So, my question to you is, when do you push your kid into something that makes them uncomfortable? I honestly can't name a single positive thing that I took away from that experience, and I ended up changing schools a year later, so it wasn't an option for me to continue with the club anyway. It was just a silly club, but it created a lot of resentment. Is this one of those moments where you just have to make a call as a parent if you think it's what's best for your kid academically? I'm trying to see all angles and look past my own hurt feelings. I'd appreciate your thoughtful insight. Well, I'm glad you consider my insight thoughtful, but I'm going to tell you this. You're in high school, sir, headed into college. Don't you know? See, maybe she didn't explain it to you well, but part of being an adult, and having a job and going for job interviews and when people ask you, tell me about yourself, or you got to do something on your job, or you're at the PTA meeting and you have to lead some committee or something. Part of everything that you do as an adult involves speaking in front of people. The more practice you get, the better you are at it and the more comfortable you are at it. If you hide yourself, you don't ever challenge yourself, you don't ever put yourself in a position where it's a little bit outside your comfort zone, you will never grow as a person. The talents that took you got to the competition and made you good enough to be in the competition were skills that you developed that you obviously don't even appreciate. Your mother's forcing you, pushing you into that arena is what made you be successful at that competition. Even if you didn't win, the fact that you were there shows that you did something good, did something right, or you wouldn't even have been at that high of a level. So I'm seeing where, you're not appreciating what you were exposed to and the advantages that can bring to your life. You don't see it. I think kids need to be pushed sometimes because life isn't about being comfortable all the time. One of the chief words that I hate that women say on this channel when they write in is, "Oh, it made me uncomfortable. And then I was uncomfortable." Be uncomfortable sometimes. It makes you take charge of your life. It makes you grow a fucking spine. It makes you stand up for yourself. It makes you see the world from a different perspective. You can't live life being comfortable all the time. You're just in a rut then. You're the same all the time. You never challenge and you never grow. You never improve. So I'm gonna say this, when I was a horrible, oh man, I was so shy when I was little. You wouldn't believe it to see me now. But one of the things that my mother did was, so I forgot what the organization was. But anyway, there's some organization, neighborhood organization. They were taking kids to teach them drama, stage, what was it called? Stage press, something about stage movement, I think it was called. And so I had no interest in drama, no interest in plays, no interest in remembering lines, none of it. None of it. I like now, I don't even write fiction. If you notice, everything I write is nonfiction. So it was completely off my radar. But my mother said, "Well, I just want you to just go in there and just, do it for this semester. It's like 6 or 8 weeks or something. Just do this one thing for me." So I said, "Okay," because I liked my mommy, and so I went to the class. It was, I mean, I thought it was stupid. I participated in all the stuff. I did the little play at the end. It was cute and everything. My parents were all, and my brothers, everybody was all cute and everything. But I never did it again, and I still had no interest in it. But what I did learn, and I didn't realize I learned this until later, is improvising. Because part of the class was, they would just give you a topic, and then you would have to act out like a a mini play about it with some other person or two other people. I was really good at that part. And I didn't know I was good at that part, but I found that out. Like if I'm under pressure to perform something and come up with some creative idea, way to do something, I shine at that. And so, but that if it weren't for that class, I would have never probably figured that out until much later in life. But when I went to different jobs and stuff, and they say, you're in a meeting, right? And suddenly they say, well, Deborah, tell us about, such and such a, give us a quick rundown on blah, 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 blah. I could do it. No fear. I might have my notes there. I'll look at them real quick, and then I just speak off the cuff. And people are like, you're really good at that. What they call it, there's a kind of speech that they do. Contemporaneous, is that the word? Extemporaneous, Afro-Summeraneous kind of speech. And I'm really good at that. I don't need a whole bunch of notes. I just need a couple of bullet points. And I can speak for 20 minutes. All of that was developed from that exposure in that stage movement drama class that my mother forced me into. So, I hesitate to tell you that you say you didn't get anything out of it. I doubt that's true. I think you just need to think about the skills, it's like what they call from jobs transferable skills, that there's something that you learned there, something you were exposed to, something that was taught to you or you saw, observed, whatever, and you took that with you and it made you a better person in the here and now. You just don't know it. But I figured out what it did for me. I still don't like drama. I still will never refuse to be in any kind of acting thing, but I can talk my ass off. And that is still a trait that I developed from that class. So ghetto school. Well, they used to have you are culture, but it's just sour milk culture. It's cottage cheese culture. But somebody could have started a drama class at your school. They just didn't think of it, I guess. You don't really need a lot of money because you make the props. You can make them out of cardboard boxes that you get from the grocery store. You just paint them and stuff, draw them and paint them and stuff like that. You don't have to have like a whole set, but if you have somebody that's handy with some wood, they can build you one. And you just make it out of scrap. You can get them from like Home Depot and stuff. The scrap lumber. You tell them it's for a school. We need to build a set. They give it to you for free. It's just they were just gonna throw it away anyway. So, there's ways around stuff. Where there's a will, there's a way. It just requires an instructor, teacher, or, the administrators to find a way to make it happen. And it's really not hard. So let's move on. Question number 11. This is a young man, 28 to 34, from Coventry, England. Term issue: I want children. My partner doesn't. How do I move forward without resentment or regret? You move on. That's what you do. It's not like you can have half a baby. It's a whole baby or it's no baby. That's it. I'm struggling with a major relationship crossroads and need advice on how to move forward in a healthy way. I've been with my partner, we're both 32, for 5 years. She has a 12-year-old son from a previous relationship. From early on, I was clear that I wanted a child of my own one day, and she said she was open to it. Over the years, I fully integrated into her and her son's life, daily school runs for years, helping him get into high school, supporting her through two major career changes, paying off debts, relocating her from another city, holidays, etc. We recently got engaged and bought a house together. We're joint tenants and took on a dog. We were actively planning a wedding. We had talked previously about having a baby after marriage and even discussed names. I genuinely believed we were aligned. But recently, she told me that she doesn't think she wants another child at all and doesn't feel maternal instincts. She said she doesn't want me to lose my chance at being a biological father, which has forced us to confront whether we're fundamentally incompatible. I love her deeply and want a family with her, not with anyone. At the same time, having a child feels like a core life goal for me, not something I can easily let go of. There's no cheating or abuse. She's still kind and affectionate, which makes this harder. I feel grief, confusion, and some resentment that this has surfaced so late in the relationship, even if it wasn't intentional. My advice seeking questions to you are, oh God, 4 questions. How do you decide whether to stay or leave when love is still there, but a core life value doesn't align? Number 2, if I stay and give up having a child, how do I avoid long term resentment? Number 3, if I leave, how do I cope with the grief of losing a future that felt real and imminent? And number 4, what boundaries or mindset help when disentangling from someone that you still love. I'm looking for grounded advice on how to handle this with integrity and minimize long term emotional damage, not validation or blame. Thanks, Deb. Okay. First, I want you to listen to the video that we did the other day. I did the other day. That was what day did I do that video? I don't remember. Friday? About motherhood and the women that just, they figured out that they either don't want children or they have a kid or two and decided that really motherhood ain't all that. As a matter of fact, I have a video on this channel called Motherhood Ain't All That. So I forgot about that. That was done probably about 6, 7, 8 years ago. But I would suggest that you go and talk to some fathers too, because you need to think about how your life that you're so happy with would change bringing an infant into it. That's why her kid is 12 years old. Or what did you say, 12, 15? What How old is this boy now? Yeah, okay, he's 12. So she on the downstroke to get him out the house and off to college. She's going to be free in a few years, and then y'all can do whatever you want to do, go everywhere you want to go that your money will take you, and your vacation time away from your work. It will just be the two of you. You won't have to be responsible for anybody except for this dog you went and got, which I don't know what you did that for. So let's start with your 4 questions. How do you decide whether to stay or leave when love is still there, but a core life value doesn't align? You don't really, you say you want a family. Why? The kid, why? You want a kid of your own. What's behind that thought? Deeply examine the reasonings why. Do you just think you want to because that's what you should want? So you can have an heir to please your mother. What's the deal there? Like I said, I suggest you go and talk to some fathers about how they feel honestly about having kids and was life better before or after. Okay, to get that out of the way first. Number two, if I stay and give up having a child, how do I avoid long-term resentment? Once you figure out that the reason why you want a kid so bad, that the answer will be clear. If you find that you want a child because everybody told you that you should, then it'll be easy to let go of that, and you probably won't have any resentment because it's not really something that you truly want. It's something that you were told that you want. Okay. Now, if it does determine that you really do want this child and it was all your 100% your idea and you want your DNA and you want to carry around a kid that looks like you and also shit here, then you're just going to have to leave her and go get somebody else. And there's no need to be resentful about it. You just leave. The guys have irreconcilable differences before you even get married, and then you move on. Number three, if I leave, how do I cope with the grief of losing a future that felt real and imminent? Well, people are entitled to change their mind. And like I said, look at it from her viewpoint. She's gone through years of diaper changing, school visits, PTA meetings, play dates, sports, picking up soccer mommy and all that stuff, making somebody do their homework, yelling at some kid, cleaning up after them and all sorts of. She's done years, more than a decade of that. At some point people get tired. And when their kids get older and you can see light at the end of the tunnel and you start getting some of your life back, that your free time and stuff, because they're older and able, more independent, why would you want to give all of that up to start all over again with an infant and a pregnancy? No, most people don't want to do that. Okay, and then your fourth question, what boundaries or mindset help when disentangling from someone you still love? Well, you just realize that your dream is the opposite of hers. Hers is to be single and free, and yours is to be saddled down with some snot-nosed ragamuffin, rugrat, curtain climber little thing. That's your dream. But how old did you say you are? Hold on a second again. Let me look at this because I don't want to be lying on people. You're both 32. Okay. So 32. So then you'd be in your late 40s by the time the kid got out of high school. Yeah, I guess that's a good age. So you still have time. You can think about this and then go find somebody who want to have a baby with you. What you need to think about though is, uh, you know, are you willing to trade the love that you have for this woman for an unknown of a child? The reason I say the unknown of a kid, because you don't know if the kid's gonna come out with some kind of afflictions, birth defects and shit, special needs kid. autism, he's on the spectrum of some way, and this is going to be a whole new bag of tricks for you. You got one kid there, you got a 12-year-old, and you know what the deal is with him. Having a baby, especially this day and age, is a big question mark. Plus the expense of it. Are you prepared for that? Why don't you go price some infant daycare and stuff like that? I prices, figure out how much that's gonna cost. Health insurance, daycare costs, diapers, you know, all the shit the kids cost. You figure, put pencil to paper and figure all that out. And you think about it. Yeah, he got time. He does have time, but I want him to do the same exercise I would have women do. Think about this. You talking about you want a baby. Have you really thought about what that means? How much of your money is going to disappear? Oh, when my daughter got out of diapers, I was so happy. I saved like hundreds of dollars a month. Because when you put them in daycare, you have to send disposable. They don't do cloth. You are required to buy disposable diapers. Even at home, I use cloth diapers because it's cheaper. But I had to go and buy them bags of diapers to take to the daycare. That shit was so much money. Oh my God. Mm-mm. I don't see how people can have kids these days. It costs too much. So you think about all that, home skillet. And then if you really, really still want a kid, you'll have to move on from this lady. Question number 12. This is a female, 28 to 34, from Swindon in the UK. The male is also 28 to 34. Same issue. My boyfriend told me he doesn't see a future with me. Where do I go from here? Wow. He just straight told you. The answer probably seems obvious, but at this point, he's saying he doesn't want to break up. I'm 29 and he's 34. We were working through some intimacy issues on my end, and suddenly he drops the bomb on me that he's unhappy in our relationship, that it makes him feel bad about himself, and he doesn't see a future with me. Yet he doesn't want to end things. I'm so confused. I told him as much, and he essentially said he wants to wait around and see if my intimacy issues get resolved. But I wouldn't want to be intimate with him at this point, even if I could. Where do I go from here? I can't live in purgatory because he can't make up his mind. Any advice about what I can say to him to make him understand that I feel finished and done at this point? You don't need to have a speech. All you do is pack your stuff and leave. Anytime a man told you he don't want you no more, there's no other conversation to be had. There's no negotiation. There's no further conversation needed. No explanations needed. No compromise needed. You just pack your stuff and you go. He already told you, okay? He doesn't see a future with me. So you don't want to, just be something that he just uses in the interim until he finds somebody that he does want a future with. You roll up your self-respect, your self-esteem, and all your energy and love that you would be wasting on a man who doesn't want you, and then you go and find somebody else. So, you don't need to tell him that. He's already told you. He sees no future with you. That's it. The end. The closing credits have run. Okay. Yeah. I mean, by the time he tells you that, I've been like, bet. Let me pack my shit and get the fuck on then. I mean, I don't even understand why you're still there writing this letter. I would have left that minute. Even if I did, I said, okay, I'm going to leave right now and go stay wherever I'm going to stay. And I'll come back with some friends and pack up my stuff and move them out as soon as I can get together crew. Give me a couple of days. And he'd be like, no, I didn't want to me right now. No, you don't see a future. I'm not spending not another cent, red cent, or another second of my time on your ass. We're done here, sir. I'm out. I'll see you in a couple of days. I'll reach out in a couple of days. And that would have been that. You know, is it me? Maybe I have too much pride or something, too much ego? Because I could not if some tell me some shit like that, I I'm, like, done that second, seriously. This girl who used to be my best friend said, "I don't understand how you do it, like, you just turn your feelings off like a switch." And I'm like, "Mm, she right." 'Cause ultimately I did the same shit to her ass, cause she just did the most. We had been friends for, like, 25 years or something, but she just did some stupid shit and I was done. And so that was that. It just I mean, seriously, that's how it ended. Just we had this weird conversation. And then she just said some shit I didn't like, and then we hung up, and I haven't talked to her or seen her since. After 25 years of being best friends. It was so weird. But anyway, that's how I do things. It's just if there's no point in continuing that relationship or devoting any more time or energy to that person, then I save my energy for myself and my future endeavors. And I like I said in one of my clips there, go where you're celebrated, not tolerated. And so if you're in a situation with somebody who's just tolerating you, why would you want to be there? I don't even understand the logic behind that. Yeah, I can't. My switch is off, and I just don't turn back on. It's just that's why I want to run my exes over with cars and wish aliens would come get them or Jaws would come on land and eat them. I just have all kind of vicious, kind of little vile dreams like that about them getting disappeared and eaten up and munched up and zipped away to Mars or something. And I just be like, all like, pleased with myself and feel really good about it. But I don't want to see them. I have no conversation for them. I don't care. But yeah, I don't understand like women who hang on and for years they be like crying about a dude and oh I want to see him, I wonder what he's doing and stuff. I don't care what them clowns is doing. I'm probably over there making some other woman miserable. Poor thing. That's what I always think. And then I shake my head and feel sad for them. Question number 13. This is a female 28 to 34. The male is also 28 34. They're in Richmond, California. Summary of issue. My partner asked me, what do you even bring to the table? No, he did not. Oh, a Dusty from Richmond. A Dusty from Richmond. Hi, Deb and Squad. I cannot believe I'm typing this out, but we have been together for 4 years, planning a future. I believed he was my person. But the other day he asked me what I bring to the table. I'm dumbfounded because this is after 4 years. You cannot see what I bring to the table. Then what am I supposed to say? I didn't answer, and he got mad saying that, see, this shows me the answer. He has more money than I do, but I've never asked him for anything. If he gets me gifts, it's because he wants to, or so I thought. But now I feel like there's some kind of resentment there. Also, work and provide for myself. He doesn't support me financially, just normal couple gifts, etc. I know I'm not perfect, but I have asked him before, what can I do better for you slash us? But he never has an answer. I feel like with this question, he doesn't really like me that much. It threw me off guard and I'm sad. And now I don't know what to do. Help me understand. Well, since, my thing is this anytime somebody pulls that ghetto phrase out on you, and they basically are telling you they see no value in you. That's what that question means. You have to, what they really want you to do is start jumping through hoops. I have a whole series on this channel. I think I did about 6, 7, 8. I don't know how many videos. It's like a series called, something about black women, how black men try to make black women jump through hoops. You need to look at that because this is an example of one of the games, the manipulative games that they play. The goal is when they say this kind of stuff, they are looking for you to try to prove to them what you bring to the table, what your value is, what your worth is. When women do that, what they start doing is overcompensating. They start doing the most to try to prove themselves to have value and to be worthy of being with this man. That is the complete opposite of what you should do. That's when you do that, you're playing into the game. They're going to get everything out of you that they can get with and start giving you as little as possible because he's tried to flip the script on you. So instead of him being the provider and the pursuer, he puts you in that position. So you have to start giving to him, buying to him, for him, giving him money, taking care of him, doing all this extra stuff for him to please him, to prove yourself. What you're supposed to do is give him this and say, you know what, I'm out. Because he's told you right to your face that he doesn't appreciate anything about you. Why are you still there? You're talking about you don't know what to do. What you're supposed to do is okay, then, since you don't see what I bring to the table, then fuck you very much. Get the hell out of my life. That's what you're supposed to tell them that second. That's what you tell them that second when they throw that shit at you. Any man telling you he don't see what your value, then he's never going to appreciate you. It doesn't matter how much you love him, what you do for him, how good your coochie is, how many cooking you do, how many kids you have for him, the house you buy for him, the stuff you get for. It's not going to matter because he's already told you he sees that no value in you. Why would you stay with a man who has told you to your face that you have no value to him? You are supposed to leave him that second. That second. Not 1 minute later, not next week. That second. You fire him on the spot. Tell him to get his hush puppies, his whatever he left at your house, get it and get the fuck out. That's what you're supposed to tell him. I wish some motherfucker would say some shit like that to me so I could lose my mind. Yeah, that trick is so old and so dusty. But these girls are young, and so they have parents that don't tell them nothing, and so they get out here in the world trying to tangle with these hood rats, and then they get caught up. That's why I'm here though, because I'm gonna tell you all the tricks. And that's the goal of those kinds of messages that they give you. It's supposed to make you prove yourself, your worthiness, your value, your why he should pick you and all this kind of stuff. So they're flipping that script, like I said. So you become the one in the position of the pursuer and the provider versus instead of him. So he can sit back, cross his legs, and do not a goddamn thing because everything that once he says that to you, see, the line in the sand is drawn. So he said, you're not gonna get nothing else out of him. Nothing of value is gonna come your way because he doesn't see you as having any. Why would he give to somebody who has no value in his eyes? So this relationship is over. Understand what time it is. It's over. So you leave him alone and you move on. That you need to do that quickly. Like as soon as you hear this answer, you reach out and tell him, "Okay, fuck you very much. I'm done. You Richmond ass dusty bum." Oh, cause some of the dustiest. I mean, they worse than the clowns in Oakland. You know what I mean? They just y'all don't even unless you live in the Bay Area, then you know what I'm talking about. Them Richmond. Ooh. Mm-mm. Question number 14. This is a male in the 22 to 27 age group from Mesa, Arizona. Summary of issue. I'm trying to navigate dating for the first time at 27. How do I balance, quote, being confident with harsh feedback from others? I'm a 27-year-old guy who's never had a girlfriend. I struggled with depression for the last 10 years of my life, and I'm finally getting better. I confessed to some of my guy coworkers that I'm not confident in my appearance and that girls would reject me because of it. As expected, my coworkers told me that I'm handsome and I just need to be more confident. So I attended a meetup and asked one girl over there for her number. She was rude and told me that I'm not attractive enough to be asking for her number. Wow. One of the guys over there told me to lower my standards and try to find someone in my league. Needless to say, I felt horrible for the rest of the day. How should I navigate situations like these without spiraling down into frustration? Is it a bad idea to approach girls who are more attractive than me? How do I balance, quote, you're handsome, just be confident with lower your standards? Do you have any other advice for me? Thank you for your thoughts. Well, one of the problems is that we've talked about this several times on this channel is that a lot of guys who are single because they overreach. They are the ones that sit there and they talk really bad about the girls who are beautiful and who, are involved in hypergamy, looking to marry up or, date up or whatever. But these are the girls who are at the top of the pinnacle, top of the pyramid. They have the perfect figures, beautiful skin, they're smart, they have great hair, they have great smiles, they have great personalities, maybe not so great, but men still chase after them and see them as having high value because of the way that they look. Now, what can you say about these guys? Are they shallow? Absolutely. Absolutely. But the ones that have, they can hold out for men who are also at the top of the pyramid, like financially and socially. So like a girl who's at that level is not going to settle for just a regular dude who works at the post office. She's going to wait to get herself with a CEO, a doctor, politician, something like that. A guy who's, out in front and center and got a lot of money. And she can do that. So if you see a girl and you say, "Oh, she's gorgeous, this and that," that's not the chick for you. Okay, because unless you one of them top of the food chain dudes, you're gonna get shot down. Even some of them get shot down because they're not high enough on the food chain if she feels like she got it like that. And so, usually like if you just a average guy, you could be like, pretty good looking, but you just got an average job. You come from an average family, you do average shit all the time for your hobbies and stuff. You ain't a pilot or nothing, you're not doing nothing stellar. You're just a regular dude. Then you go for a regular girl and you'll have more success. Try to find somebody, she's cute. She might not be the most beautiful girl in the room, but she ain't ugly. She got herself in shape somewhat. She wears her makeup nicely. Her hair is pretty. She has a nice smile and she's friendly and open. She tries, when you approach her, she's friendly and she's responsive. That's who you go for. Do you ask for a woman's number right off the bat? No, you do not. That's a guaranteed setup for rejection. That's you doing too much. You putting the cart before the horse. You have to establish some kind of rapport with her, and that's why meetups are good because usually you can talk about what's going on at the event. You can talk about I don't know whatever the meetup is about. I mean, they have different themes. Restaurant dinners out, wine tastings. I mean, they just have bowling. I mean, they have different focuses. So I don't. You didn't say which one you were at. Some have board games and stuff. I mean, they just do all different stuff. So you could talk about that since you're at the meetup. But there has to be a segue. There has to be some rapport established before you ask for her number. Then you ask for her number, she's more likely to give it to you because she's already enjoyed talking to you. She thinks, you're cute, you're funny, you're interesting, or something like that. You have to let a woman see who and what you are before you start asking her for a number. You don't just walk up cold and ask her for a number. She don't know who the fuck you are. So of course she's gonna say no. Now the one who said that you're not good enough to get her number, that was so rude and inappropriate that she's just raggedy. But I'm just telling you in general, you have to do something to establish some rapport with the girl. 10 minutes of conversation. I mean, it's not gonna hurt you. If you don't know how to have 10 minutes of conversation with somebody, you need to start there. Okay. Because I know that's hard these days because um, people are used to texting. They don't even have conversations. And then if you get the girl's number, be sure to use it to call her. You just text her first to say it's now a good time to talk. She will say yes or no. If she says no, then you say, well, what time is good? And she'll say, oh, when I get off of work at blah, blah, blah time, or when I finish with this meeting at blah, blah, blah time, I'm back at my desk, or, I'm out shopping with my mom, but I'll be back home at such and such a time. And we can talk then. And then that's when you call her. Grown men should use the phone to talk to women because women are very auditory. We love hearing men's deep voices. What you should not do is think you're going to establish a relationship with somebody by text. It's not going to happen. Somebody say date your wage. Well, he won't really know what her wage is in a little casual setting like that. You don't necessarily know anything about somebody's income. Like I wouldn't be telling people my income. Because my income, I mean, I wouldn't even have nothing to say because mine is so up and down and all around. I just never know how much money I'm gonna have from month to month because that's what happens when you be working for yourself. You just never. Oh, his wage. Oh, yeah. He didn't say what he does, huh? He just said that he had depression and that he has coworkers, but he didn't say what kind of job it was. So I couldn't even begin to guess what his wage might be. He's in Arizona. Mm. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on it from what I've seen. A lot of guys, they feel like they've been looking at these kind of girls in Penthouse and Playboy and online on them sites, and they think they deserve a girlfriend that looks like that. And I'm telling you, that's not. Those girls tend to wait for the guy who's at the pyramid, the top of the pyramid, and that ain't you. You just a regular dude. You in the middle. Some of y'all is on the bottom. And so, you need to look across, not up for your woman. Okay. Then you'll be all right and you'll have more success. But like I said, break it in easy first with conversation. Break it in with conversation. Question number 15. This is a male 28 to 34 from Austin, Texas. Summer issue. I'm not going to my brother's wedding and the family is unhappy about it. Sorry, but I don't give a damn about weddings in general. I just don't, and I won't pretend that I do. And this will be my brother's fourth wedding anyway, so it's like, well, I guess the other three times you made these same vows, it meant nothing, huh? Wow, his fourth wedding? Why can't people just be committed to each other without spending stupid amounts of money on rings and this, wow, look at us ceremony? I'm not sorry, actually. I think weddings are dumb, and I'm not changing my mind about it. You think that until you get to have one. I get I'm the anomaly in this idea compared to most people, but I'm allowed to have my beliefs. I'm not arguing with you. Why are you so defensive? And my mom and my brother have known this about me for more than a decade. I begrudgingly went to his last two weddings, and I can say with full confidence my time would have been better spent in a plethora of other ways. I am happy my brother is in love and I really like his fiance. It's not personal or from a place of malice in any way. I just don't want to go. Is that so wrong? It's not like I'm close with my brother to begin with. Should I force myself to go? Not to his fourth wedding. Tell him you'll go to his fifth anniversary or something to see if he makes it this time and that you'll come with a good present. As far as the wedding goes, just send a present and a card and just call it a day. I mean, by the time somebody, you done struck out 3 times, it's a wrap. You shouldn't be having a wedding anymore. I guess maybe it's her first one or something, so he wanna give her a wedding. But, in reality, you done failed 3 times already. You on number 4, and you think people gonna still have the same level of enthusiasm for, can't get it right ass? I don't think so. I just you know what I mean? I think if, one of my brothers was got on his 4th marriage, I'd be like, "Clown, look. Yeah, you just make it to the 5th anniversary, and if you could do that, then I'll show up. Other than that, you probably be down to on wedding number 5 in a few years. So then, I'm not wasting my money and time going to your 900th wedding. Get out of here." But that's how I would talk. I was talk to my brothers. Like we exaggerate things. We say 77th, 900th, that kind of stuff. Everybody knows it's a gross exaggeration, but it just adds to the humor. Question number 16. This is a female, 22 to 27 from Chicago. Serve issue. Why did it hurt so much? I am 26 and I just got out of a 2-month thing where the guy, he's also 26, kept telling me how much he wanted to be with me and treated me insanely better than any guy I've ever been with. I've been in other relationships before, both serious and non of varying lengths, but for some reason I just can't shake this guy. He gave me every reason to feel safe and comfortable with him, then out of the blue said he wasn't feeling me, even though just a few days before that he said I was his person. I feel so hurt and led on and I didn't know what to do and feel, and I can't get over him. Well, it's only been a couple of days, so of course you can't get over him quite yet. We never even officially dated. Wait, what? But we're settled into a routine and approaching that. I am terrified of this happening again because how can someone tell me that I'm their person and then leave me in the dust like that? I'm never going to trust a man again, but I want a man in my life, so I don't know what to do about it. Any advice for me? Yes. Okay, you're 26, it's kinda old for you to still be falling for this game. You admit that you never even really dated. We never officially dated. Okay, so you know how I always say that unless you have that conversation? Commitment involves 2 things. One is a conversation about what this means, where y'all gonna go, what the parameters and barriers and boundaries are of this togetherness that you all trying to establish. There has to be that conversation. And then the second component of that is whatever the conversation is that he says he's gonna do and be and say in this relationship, his behavior has to match that. So see, it's 2 parts: behavior and words, behavior and conversation. If you only have one without the other, then you don't have a committed relationship and there's nothing to break up. It could be one or either one of those. He says something or you just interpret what he does. Either way, you don't have the other component and so you don't have a commitment. So that's where I'm coming from with you. There you had a 2-month thing where he was telling you he liked you and all this other stuff here, but you guys never had that conversation about commitment and what it means and what you all is going to be doing as partners in a relationship. So, you didn't really get out of a thing because there was never a thing established. Okay. Sounds to me like you had a FWB. Hey, Raquel, long time no see. I just, you know, this is what I call seduction tactics. They tell you what they think you want to hear, right? But what you failed to do was to line up his actions with his words. And he said you wanted to be with you and he treated you better, but what did he do that would make you think this was going to be long term? That's great that he treated you nice in the here and now. They always treat you nice in the beginning, and then they don't because they be trying to get them panties, right? They want to get you to feel in love with them so they can, like, get stuff from you, move in your house, get your money, let you, be on their bank accounts, let you do, you let them do stuff. For single women with kids, it's let them be around your kids and watch your kids while I aren't there because they said all the stuff and you was under assumption that it was meaningful. And the next thing you know, it's a problem because you trusted somebody who was just gaming on you with your kids. So, there's all kind of reasons for this game. Usually it's something sexual, but it could be other things too. So I want you to slow down in the future. When the guy's saying this kind of stuff or he's doing this kind of stuff, I want you to slow down and think about, okay, well, he said this, but what's he doing? Does that match it? He said this. Are we in a committed relationship where this is an appropriate conversation to be having? Why would he say this to me and we're just, quote, kicking it or just really getting to know each other? How can I be somebody's person when I've only known this guy for a few weeks? How did he figure that out already? What's he basing that on? See, you didn't ask any of these kind of important questions. You just dived in head first, believing everything that he said, thinking it was meaningful. And so now you're in a position. So, I'm not mad at you. I'm just telling you at 27, you need to start thinking better and, analyzing men better. You don't just take things that people say at face value. You have to think about why they could be saying this and is it appropriate for the level of relationship that you two have? And from my perspective, the answer to that is no. You just everything started and finished in 2 months and all that was said? Psh, girl. Question 17. This is a female, 22 to 27, from Santa Clarita, California. The male's 28 to 34. Some of issues. Should I set expectations for intimacy with my date? I'm 25 and I've been seeing this guy who's 31. I matched with him online a few weeks ago. We have gone on 2 dates, both dinner and both paid by him. Things have been going well and we always have something to talk about. For the second date, he suggested dinner out or cooking at his house. I appreciated him giving options, but said I was more comfortable eating outside, and we did. Our fourth date is already planned for a few weeks from now. I had to pre book our activity, and the third will be next weekend. We haven't seen each other since a week before Christmas. He has proposed dinner at his house and a movie. To add, after our planned fourth date, he said we could cook at home or get dinner out again. In terms of physical escalation, we haven't really touched that much or held hands. He gave me a brief I'm sorry, a brief pet kiss. He asked, but I was expecting it and wanted to at the end of our second date, but that's it. Anyway, I'm not someone who wants to rush into Nook Nook after previous bad experiences with guys. I want to wait until I get to know the person properly. I want to ensure that they are dating me for the right reasons. I want to be on the same page regarding exclusivity. And lastly, I want to ensure that any Nook Nook is safe, STD status, etc. I do know that guys offering to cook at home usually lead towards more physical aspects of a relationship, and there haven't been any natural opportunities on our date so far to escalate, so I would only assume that he might want to now. He has suggested dinner at home a few times, which makes me think that. My question is, how do I approach this? Do I let him know beforehand what my expectations are or wait until the date? And how do I go about it without making him feel rejected or like I'm not interested? I do want to be physical, but I need more time. Thanks in advance. Well, I mean, why can't you open your mouth and say that? Let me see what did you put in here? I'll be reading, so I have to go back and get the facts. Okay, so you already booked the fourth date. It was going to be some kind of activity, but in the meantime, before that happens, you guys are going to have a date next weekend for dinner and a movie at his house. So, and all he's done is have a brief peck. He suggested dinner at his house several times. So I think my first thing yeah, he wanted Netflix and chill, the cheap bastard. But the first thing I would do in a situation like this is ask him, what is it that he's expecting to happen? Or what would he like to see happen? Because he's invited you over to his house several times. You decline, but you want to know, is there anything, just ask him point blank, is there anything that he's hoping for is going to happen? And tell him you need to be honest. Even if he's not honest, it says, well, nothing. We're just going to do something. Say, okay, I want to make sure that because, I don't mind, being intimate with someone that I'm involved in a committed relationship. Or no, you say exclusive relationship, but I need to know, I need to establish that over a period of time. and I need to know who it is that I would be dealing with. I need to know about his health history. I need to know about, what his goals in life and stuff is, what his goals are here before I could even sign on. It might be some goal he has that I'm not a part, not really interested in. So, that's why I hesitated to come to your house because in many instances, guys invite women to their house and they're expecting something sexual to happen. And I'm telling you, that's not going to happen. So if that's what you had in mind, then I just won't come. Oh, no. But okay, we'll have to talk. You send me an email and tell me what appliances you bought. I'm scared. Ah, but this is a rough one. That I usually don't go to dudes' houses because of that. They always think they always be start to pull out their dick and talk some shit I'm not trying to hear. So it's just better just to not even go. You don't even have to have this conversation. Tell them dating takes place outside of the house unless we like really are a couple. Then I'll come to your house and you can come to mine. Until then, um, I don't go to men's houses. That's what I always tell them. There's no reason for me to go to your house. Any place that we want to talk or something, we can either do that, in public or we can do that over the phone. There's no reason for me to go to your house. So it'd be near proximity to your mattress. Not happening. And they usually, the way I say it, they be laughing like, but they don't really think it's funny. They be just using that laugh as a cover up. And sure enough, you don't really hear from them that much because it's not what they want. They go back to they little dating site or wherever they came from and find somebody who's more, interested in what they're talking about. It's just not me. I'm not trying to die of a disease. I've lived this long, disease free. I intend to be meeting my maker without that affliction afflicting my body. I have no interest in that. And they tell me that, these days, like we found, because I do all the stuff with the aging people, with the APS people and the aging people. And they talk about in the nursing homes, that's now the highest rate of STDs, gonorrhea and stuff. Them old people be getting busy and they don't, they from an era before people used condoms and stuff. And so they don't really know about that kind of stuff. And so they just be spreading it. And I'm like, okay. And then one of my little cousins, she says, ew, old people doing it. This sounds gross. It's like they're so dry and crunchy. But it's like rubbing wood together. It's gonna burst into flames. They're so dry. I was like, oh no, she didn't. But yeah, that was funny the way she said it. Yes, there you go, Kiki. Let me put what Kiki said on the screen. This is a good one for you. I will let you know when I'm ready to come over. Don't ask me anymore. That is perfect. Thanks, Kiki. She summed it right up. There you go. See, I have good viewers. They be coming up with some stuff. So, that's all you have to tell them. But yeah, that's why I don't go because I'm not interested. I don't have to fight nobody off. I don't want to be trying to stab nobody or zapping them with my stun guns. Yeah, the nursing homes are work. You're right. Because, all the people have been married. So they used to doing it regularly. And suddenly they in the nursing home, their mate has died or whatever. And so they have a chance to get busy. They be taking it. It'd be like one old man with like 4 or 5 girlfriends. This is all hearsay from the social workers now. I don't know. I've never been in the old folks' home. I've never seen this, but they be talking. They be sharing the stories. Like one dude to 5 or 10, widows, one widower with all these widows, and the guys. Some of them have been in the service. They're still fit. They old and live by themselves, but they're still, got good posture and muscle tone and stuff. And they be doing it. I'm like, oh my, I'm scared. Question number 18. This young lady's 28 to 34 from Toronto, Canada. Son may have issue. My boyfriend called me the W word indirectly because of my past mistake. Is this the final deal breaker? It would be for me. You don't call me nothing except for Deborah, maybe honey, baby, sugar, sweetie, something like that. But you definitely not calling me no B word or no W word. Let's see what she says. Hello, Deb. I've been long distance dating my boyfriend for 3 years. And since the beginning, we had issues, but we persisted. One of the major ones, and that I regret so much until today, is that during the first month of our dating, I was still in contact with the guy I was online FWB. We never met in real life with before meeting him. And he saw my conversation with that guy, and they weren't innocent. We were dating 5 months. By this time, I had long stopped talking to that guy, the other guy. I've long stopped talking to the other guy other than formally. Okay, I don't know what that means. I apologized profusely and asked him if we could try again. He accepted and told me to block that guy and deactivate all my social media. I agreed, and since that day, I was even more open and transparent with him. He had full access to my phone and conversations. I made sure to not give him even an ounce of doubt or anxiety related to this matter. But things got so much worse after this incident. Since the beginning, we had communication issues. I like to be part of his life and get light updates about his days, but all our communications amounted to "Hello, babe, how are you?" at 7 p.m. and a couple of calls a week. This guy supposedly wanted to marry me and told me that he can't imagine he had to date someone out of his league. This issue got much worse after the incident. You already said that. The rest of the relationship was full of arguments and fights that escalated so bad, and they were usually triggered by me asking him to be more present, more expressive, so we can build a deeper connection because I felt very disconnected from him. 2 months ago, we had a horrible fight where I had to remind him about certain mistakes of the past because he told me he never acted in the way I say he did. And for his defense, he reminded me, not the first time, about my quote cheating and told me that was a behavior of a garden tool. Now, throughout the whole relationship, I accepted all the painful things he made me go through because I felt I deserved it. Really? You stupid. But this was a limit. Since that day, I took my distance. I don't initiate contact first. I don't ask, beg, explain, or fix anything. And thanks to this distance, I remembered about how messed up all the things he did to me were. But at the same time, I can't help feeling like I deserve it and should bear with it. Now, I don't want to claim to be a victim, and I understand perfectly that what I did is unforgivable. The fact that he still wants to try again says a lot about how much grace he has. But at the same time, when is enough enough? Any help or advice is he don't want to try again. He just wants to keep you around and guilt trip you and manipulate you and punish you for doing what you did. Now, see, this is where you and I differ. Just because you were working, you, I'm just, I'll just read what she said. She said they be getting busy. Oh my God, that's what the social workers say. They just be laughing about it. So they be getting it in more than they do in their 20s. I'm like, wow, they probably know how to do it better too because they had like decades more practice than you have. But anyway, back to the story. Um, when you have a guy whose opinion of you is low enough for him to call you a garden tool, that is a man who's done with you. So anytime that you spend with him after he disrespects you like that is lost time. You're saying you felt like you deserved it. So you stick around because you feel like you want to punish yourself. Let me explain something to you. You're not engaged to this motherfucker. You ain't married to him and you don't owe him anything. So once that happened and you was doing, the dude that you never even met in real life, and he found out, you're supposed to say, so what? I'm sure you had women that you were still in your circle too, even though, you were seeing me, so shut the fuck up. That's how it works when you're single. You dating other people until you decide that you only want to see this one. I decided I only want to see you. You decide you only want to see me. But we did that after we got rid of, after some time passed. Do you expect me to drop everybody the second I meet your funky ass? The answer to that question is no. That wasn't going to happen. That's an unrealistic expectation anyway. So who knew that this might work out? And the way you acting right now, it looked like it was a smart thing to keep that extra man on the line because your ass about to get fired. Yeah. He just he just wants to hurt her. It's just a matter of keeping her around to punish her, like I said. That's how they do. They're vindictive and they be mad that was seeing another man because they're the only one supposed to be seeing somebody else, not supposed to be you. You're supposed to be loyal to them even though they're not loyal to you. That's the game. So, your best bet at this point is, you don't initiate contact, you don't ask him anything. So just go block this fool. Just block him. He won't care. And you're not going to get back with him. You're not going to do anything like that. You're going to move the fuck on. Okay, because he has done the ultimate insult to you. And if you accept that, then please don't think that he will ever expect you. You can never expect to be respected by this man ever again. It's not going to happen. He has no reason to because you accepted disrespect. I wish some monkey motherfucker would call me a B word or a W word so I could lose my mind. And tell him all about himself and his mama and his baby mama, his ex-wife, his sister, everybody. And everybody female in his circle would get talked about bad, starting with his mother. Usually I don't like to do it, but once you start calling me names like that, all bets are off. And I'm going for the jugular. And I'm gonna talk about that bitch. And I'm gonna talk about your bitch ass sister and your bitch ass baby mama and your bitch ass stupid ass ex-wife because she was dumb enough to marry your dumb ass. All kind of stuff is gonna come out of my mouth. Would it be factual? Who knows? Who cares? That's not the point because you're not a W word or a B word either, right? So we're not talking about facts here. We're just lobbing grenades, verbal grenades at each other. And so he gonna lob us up, I'm gonna lob some right back. We match energy on this channel. So whatever energy he's throwing out, he's about to get a double dose right back. Yeah, go just lead us, fool. Come on now. Question 19. This is a female, 22 to 27, from Ashford in the UK. Sorry, issue. I'm obsessive, needy, clingy, and I don't know how to change. Oh God. I know it's toxic, but I can't seem to change my behavior no matter how much I try. I had a crush on a guy, and while he didn't like me back. He tried to help by saying, if you don't text me for a week, I'll end up texting you first. Try that instead of messaging me every 2 minutes. It felt mortifying, but it didn't stop anything. I didn't text him for 2 weeks, but still obsessively checked if he sent anything. I thought about him constantly. I just couldn't stop. I thought I got better, but it was just because I wasn't crushing on anyone. As soon as I clicked with someone recently, all my toxic behaviors came back. I try not being clingy, but it never works. How do I actually change this? Any advice is appreciated. You need to run and find you a shrink and hop up on that little chair that they have in that little couch thing, and you start letting them get inside your head to see what's got you all fucked up like this. What you are. He was very nice to you because really, like if you were like that with me, I would have said, bitch, your ass is annoying as hell. I don't want to ever hear from you again. You drive me crazy. You make me want to pull all my skin off and yank all my hair out just to make sure that nothing on me is associated with you. Because you touch me and you touch my hair, and I don't even want it anymore. I don't want anything to do with you. So I would say, nasty stuff like that. But he was very nice to you, gave you like an option to not text him for weeks and all this little stuff here. But yeah, this seems to be beyond your control. So, you coming across as young and stupid and annoying as hell. And so what you need to do is get you some mental health counseling. And I'm serious right now because your behavior is not normal. It is so abnormal that it's kind of frightening. Because if you get some kind of psychosis and this is your underlying behavior, you could end up in prison for stalking or hurting someone with your cleanness and neediness. That's the direction that you're going in. Okay, it's tempered right now by your youthfulness and lack of experience. But I'm concerned because this is how those people that do that kind of stuff, they all have this trait. They are this insistence on being with someone, clinging to someone that doesn't want them. So it's at the beginning of that. I want you to figure out what to do about it to fix it now before it gets worse and lands you in prison. So you go and you see a shrink. That's what you need to do. Good night, Raquel. Happy New Year. Question 21. This is a male, 20 to 34, from Little Rock, Arkansas. Summary of issue. Wait a minute. Did I skip one? I think I did. Hold on. Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Question 20. This male, 28 to 34, from Antioch. No, that's not too far from here. The girl is 18 to 21. Summary of issue. A girl asked me to be her boyfriend. For context, she's 21 and I'm 28. We met at a bar that she works at on one of her days off. It's been a little over a month, and to be fair, I do have feelings for her, but I'm still trying to get to know her. We started seeing each other more frequently, even without making plans. We would just meet up, which felt nice because everything is all organic. I don't mind her being nice to me, like buying me food and drinks, etc. Of course, I do the same, or if I'm offered to pay at all, but it's just nice finding someone that's 50-50 on a lot of things. I get that she's excited and she probably really does like me, as she says she does, but I feel like this is a little too sudden. I said yes, which I know sounds like the wrong answer, but which it is, but I didn't want to reject her or bring her hopes down, especially because I know she's excited. Should I just go with it and pace her as we go on? I feel like telling her I shouldn't be her boyfriend yet would ruin things for her. And again, I do like this girl. I'm just not used to being called a boyfriend. Well, what you need to do, and this is what you should have done with your 28-year-old ass, is say, well, okay, what does that mean? Because see, when you start agreeing to be something to somebody, it's like you signing a contract. In your case, you don't really know this girl, so you signed like a contract that's not even filled in. You leaving it to her to fill it in after you've already signed on the dotted line, which is stupid. So what you have to do is go back to her and say, I agreed because I didn't want to, reject you and stuff, but I'm really not too sure about this being your boyfriend thing. I want to ask you specifically, what does that job entail? What's the expectations do you have of me? What is it you're expecting to do with me, for me, or what you want me to do with or for you? And y'all sit down and have a conversation like two grown people. Okay, because you might hear something that doesn't really fit up with what you thinking. Like she might be trying to move in with you or something. She has a roommate situation she's trying to get out of, and she's trying to line up a boyfriend that she can move in on and escape that situation. She don't care that you don't really know each other that well. There's all kind of reasons why somebody would be rushing like this. So you need to figure that out to make sure that this is something that you actually want to do. And then if not, you say, well, I'm sorry, I have to, renege on my prior agreement. This is not really going to work for me. Or, you might want to go forward with it. I don't know. 21-year-old, so you're only 21 and you 28. I don't know. Depends on how mature she is, I guess. We'll see. But that should be your first step to go really clear on what that means and how it's going to impact your life. Okay. Question number 21. This is a male 28 to 34 from Little Rock, Arkansas. So, of issue, they say guys who are tall, have a career, have their life together, and take care of themselves, have unlimited dating options, and have someone all over them all the time. But this is an opinion I heard recently. I'm a guy who has those qualities, and this has never been my lived experience. In fact, it's not even close. I'm not going to waste too much time talking about myself, but I'm very tall, 6'5" and a half, have a good career, an advanced degree. I take good care of myself, and I think I'm a pretty darn good communicator. I've had one girlfriend in my entire life. Yep, that's it. Currently, I'm 30 years old. So that's my quote, realistic experience trying to date and put myself out there. It seems like a lot of people seem to think that guys like me are somehow, quote, swimming in options, end quote. On some forum, I read about how someone who is tall, has a good career, takes care of themselves, etc., has someone all over them all the time. Really? That doesn't match my experiences at all, and it's not even close. Where does this idea come from? And what cheat codes did I miss where dating suddenly became a game and not something extremely challenging? Um, it comes from men who are short and ugly and who can't get women, and they look at, guys who are tall, attractive, and make good money who seem to be, the ideal man, and they feel like, well, you guys must be having the reason why they can't get a woman is because of you. You take all the women. That's where that comes from. Is it realistic? Nope. Never said it was. You reading anything online, you should take it with a grain of salt. You should not be like lamenting over it like you're doing. They're just fools on the internet. I mean, come on, dude, really? You all wrapped up in this fantasy? You in Little Rock, Arkansas, please get on a train, a bus, a plane somewhere and go somewhere else. Find you a girlfriend in another state, in another municipality that has better sense than obviously the girls in Little Rock, Arkansas do. Okay? Do that. And then when you get said girlfriend and you get, happy with her, you can move to where she is. Okay? Or maybe she might just move to Little Rock. I don't know what you want to do. Depends on what the career opportunities are in your chosen field. Is it better where she is? Is it where you are? Is it better some third party, some other third location y'all both could go to? I don't know. But I'm telling you, if it's not working where you are, you're 30 years old, and you've been dating, I'm assuming, for at least 10 years trying to date, you ain't met nobody who had one girlfriend, then chances are Little Rock is not really the spot for you. See where I'm going with this? There's a big planet out there. Get your ass on a plane. Go somewhere else. Question number 22. This is a male, 22 to 27, from Manchester, New Hampshire. Summary of issue. I'm new to corporate life. What do people do when they come home? Oh my God, are you kidding me? Basically, I just started my first corporate job and I'm not sure what I should be doing after I come home. I get bored after 5 p.m. and I just sit and watch YouTube. I'm a 24-year-old guy, single, and nothing to do with my time. It's super cold where I am. It's about 30 degrees midday. So I can't go out much. Also, I don't have a car. I'm planning to join a nearby gym in January, though. What are some hobbies or things people do after coming home from work? Oh my God, dude. Okay, you just sit and watch YouTube. What do you eat? Do you cook for yourself? That should take up a good hour or so. You got to wash the dishes and stuff. Sometimes people do chores. They do laundry, they clean the bathroom, they change the sheets, they tidy up. They might visit with a couple of friends on the phone, phone or something. They might go out for beers with their buddies. They might go to a pool house and shoot some pool with their buddies. They might work on their hobby. Maybe they like to read. Maybe they like to do creative writing. Maybe they take an online class. Maybe they do a hobby which you don't seem to have any of, like pottery, um, I don't know, painting, drawing, something, model crafting, needlework. I mean, yeah, believe it or not, some dudes do crochet and knit. I don't know what to tell you. It's just so many things. Then in the spring and stuff, you could do like gardens. You live in apartments, you could do like a little window box garden or grow some plants or something to make your apartment look more lived in and lively and homey and stuff. Plus, it improves the air quality indoors. Yeah, somebody said learn an interest. Yeah, instrument, as long as it don't make a lot of noise if you live in an apartment, because otherwise you'll get evicted. Video games, yeah, that's one too. So he watches movies on YouTube. Well, he don't have a car, and he said it's cold. He just, stays inside when he gets home from work watching YouTube. Dude, Imma just tell you what my mother used to tell, because we used to tell one time, I'll never get this. One time, me and my brothers, we walked around looking at each other, and one of my brothers made the fatal mistake of going up, being the leader of the pack, and telling my mother that we were bored. My mother said, "There's no such thing as being bored. There's only boring people." And we all looked at each other, and then we didn't really know what to say. My mother said, "Well, since you're bored, let me give you something to do." We lived in a 10-room Victorian, two-story Victorian at the time in San Francisco. It had, the little tiny windows, the little windows with the wood in between, and then, like, the ceilings were 16 or 18 feet up it was beautiful place, but it was so, and we had the hardwood floors that would go on for miles. My mother would make us strip those floors, wax those floors, polish them floors, clean all them goddamn windows inside and out, had a telescoping pole thing. And so, polished furniture, clean, polished silver, clean glasses that was up in the little display cabinet and stuff. We pull all them out, wash them, shine them up, clean the shelf off, put them all back. She worked the shit out of us. Okay. We had that summer, we didn't do nothing but work because my brother made the fatal mistake of saying that we were bored. My mother's like, let me make sure your ass ain't never bored again. Do you think the next year we did that? Nope. We found shit to do. We made up shit to do. We entertain ourselves. Nobody ever said they were bored ever again. To this day, I don't say that I'm bored. I find something to do. It's a habit I picked up after that summer, the horrible summer of windows. I just we had so many windows in that house. I mean, like I said, it was a pretty house, but whew, it was just a lot. And so that's what we did. That's what my mother did. And so she was like a quiet savage. She was, yes, basement girl, all that. Because with hardwood floors, they get dusty. And so, yeah, we had to run a dust mop every day. She make her clean the bathrooms. We had 3 bathrooms in that house. All 3 bathrooms got to get cleaned. I mean, all them hardwood floors, and it was just, oh, I'm tired just thinking about it. And then if we got these random stuff to do in the house, that she put us in the backyard, pulling weeds, fertilizing her roses, watering, make my brothers cut the grass. I mean, it was a lot. It was a lot. That's right, girl. Make him earn his keep. But yeah, it was so I never to this day, like I said, I don't say that word. That word has been stricken from my vocabulary for decades. I don't never say that. And my mother been dead years. I'm still scared to say that I'm bored because she might rise up and find something for me to do. I'm like, oh no. Mm-mm. That's funny. So anyway, let's move on. Question 23 of 25 questions. Thanks everybody for joining me today. And like I said, we got that new QR code up there on the screen. If you want to submit a question to this column, just scan that QR code with your phone, and it'll take you right to the advice submission form, and you can submit your own question. It makes it very easy to submit a question to the show. Okay. Now okay, so what did I say? Okay, we did that. So she's 43. I'm sorry, this is a female 35 to 42 from rural Michigan. The male's 35 to 42 as well. Summary of issue. I'm selling my house, but my partner cannot get on board and it's causing huge issues. My 35-year-old partner refuses to go along with the plan that I have to sell, nor he won't buy it himself. But I'm set on selling, and the house is fully mine and unsure how to proceed without a blow up. It's a 6-acre homestead with about 20 minutes outside the nearest town on a main road that's too busy to safely walk. I bought the house in 2021 for 221,000 and anticipate selling it for at least 375. I have a 2.5% mortgage with 120,000 remaining. We have one 8-year-old and a baby due in May. It's rural as fuck here. We have few neighbors and they're mostly retirees, so there's no kids to play with, no parents to befriend. I just view the place as an investment and it's time to sell. I've been actively talking about selling since spring and even bought a property up north right across the street from my childhood home about 2 hours away for a future primary or secondary home. My partner loves the distance and isolation here. I loathe it. Some things I dislike about this house that could be changed, like I could parcel off the 4 useless acres of it that we now mow and rake, and I pay property taxes on. He could run the kiddos back and forth into town twice for school each day instead of me doing it, but some can't, like the distance into town and the general isolation. Just had to cancel plans for today yet again due to winter road conditions and issues we never have living in town. The home is amazing and gorgeous, and that's part of the problem. Neither of us is handy at all, and every little problem never gets fixed or has to be hired out, and that's not tenable at all. We will ruin this place's current high value and ROI unless I sell it quick. He says he will learn to be more handy, but it doesn't happen. He's ruined 3 riding mowers, and we don't know how to fix them. He paid for 2 to be fixed already and broke them again. There's a tree house down in our front yard from 3 days ago that he insists he take care of. We don't own a big enough chainsaw, so it just sits there. See the pattern? I'd so much rather have a plain Jane home with a modest backyard that I can push, mow, and rake in one day. Neighborhood kids for my kids to play with, parents to befriend, locals to hire for odd jobs, to just be able to go take a safe walk, run, or bike ride down the road. Plus, I'd like to sell before needing to replace water heaters, furnace, roof, etc. Each year here is a year closer to needing something expensive done. Anytime I bring up selling it, it causes tension and arguments. I've offered to sell it to him at a lesser price than market since he loves it so much, but I think he fears I'll then be able to leave too easily to that property up north once built. As I work from home and could go anywhere, I have a master's. Job wise, he hit the proverbial jackpot at a local casino, making money he'd never make with just his high school diploma. So he can't slash won't leave the area. Plus his family is here. I found places in town near them to purchase instead, but none of them fit his criteria, like this home, several acres, several outbuildings, scant neighbors, etc. He has never owned a home himself and thinks the debt is too scary. I could sell this place and buy a modest home in town outright with the proceeds and be a paid off homeowner before I'm 40. What stability and reassurance that would be in current and future tumultuous economic times. I made it clear I'm not going to change my mind. Calling my awesome realtor with whom I bought this place this weekend, but anticipating a new level of fighting. His name is nowhere on the deed nor the mortgage, and he's got no lease here. I get very little money from him towards expenses, though we make about the same, 80,000 a year. So he has no legal or financial claim. When I sold my last house in 2021, I wrote him a personal check for a huge chunk of the proceeds as his share of equity, so it's not like he never personally sees the benefits of selling either. Do I just say buy up or shut up? Yep. And I wouldn't give him a dime. I mean, I don't know why you sold your first house and gave him any money. What'd you do that for? You just like letting yourself be pimped. That's what it sounds like to me. You done had 2 kids and letting this man run your life and your investments and stuff. You were smart enough to buy basically 3 houses. The first one that you already sold, this one, and the one that you have up north. So that's 3 homes that you've bought by yourself before you turned 40. What has he done? That would be what drove my decision. The fact that he's never owned a home and is too scared to own one because of debt that would incur, that's a sign that he's not a good pick. So you go and you do what you want to do with your house and you tell him if you want to stay with me, I'm moving up to, this other place. Otherwise you can possibly rent from the new owner. But whatever happens, it's not gonna be my problem. I'm selling the house and I'm gonna get the fuck out of here because I don't want to stay here anymore. It was nice while it lasted, but I'm done. and then that's it. No, they're not married. They're not married. She's just a baby mama, but she's a smart one because she's able to buy herself, like I said, different properties. She's not even 40 yet. Of course, $221,000 for a spread like that. In California, that'd be about 20 million. So, big difference in economic status. She's only making $80,000 a year. She's able to make all the moves. I must need to move to New Hampshire. No, I can't do snow. I'm sorry, I can't do snow. I was just thinking about it's cold enough in here as it is. Let's move on. Yeah, he don't, it's not his house. He ain't paid no mortgage, no insurance, no nothing. He gives her some little Mickey Mouse amount of money. So, and then broke 3 riding lawnmowers. Who does that? How do you do that? Unless you intentionally running over like roots and shit that's shouldn't be running over. He sounds like stupid. Question 24. This is a female, 20 to 34, from Phoenix, Arizona. Summer issue. I do not want to do long distance with my boyfriend, and I'm having a bit of a breakdown. Any advice is appreciated. I've been having a wee bit of a breakdown lately. I went to graduate school in Arizona. I'm originally from California. I met my current boyfriend, who's 30, while I was attending school there. I graduated in 22 and got a job working in California. My boyfriend and I did long distance for a year and a half, during which time it wasn't fun. LOL. I left that job in 2024 and moved back to Arizona to start a new position, and we moved in together. Well, after a few months, I left that job due to lack of adequate training. I work in healthcare in a somewhat niche specialty. We moved to a new apartment in Arizona and I got a new position. Well, after being in my current position for 8 months, I was laid off. Unfortunately, the job prospects are minimal since it's the holidays. The only ones available are out of state. Thus, I will likely have to move soon again. This will be the fourth time I've had to move in the last 2 to 3 years. I do not want to do long distance again. I'm also scared about the dating prospects in my 30s, as it was hard enough to find my current boyfriend in my 20s. I went through a lot of bad situationships. I also don't have any close friends, which makes things a bit more lonely in general. Any advice is appreciated. Well, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you in a niche market. The only thing that you could do is get some retraining that's more general, so that you could work anywhere. That might be something that you want to look into, or find out what specialty is, where they're desperate to have people, and then you could do that. You go back and get another year of training or something, and then you could do that as well. You could add that to your list of your area of expertise. Other than that, you're just gonna have to move and try to look for somebody else. I don't know what to tell you. I know they have traveling nurses. They usually do, like, I think it's like 2 or 3 month assignments, and then you go back home. You make grand theft money, so then you don't have to work a couple of months. And you could be looking at him if you want to. Then you go off and you work somewhere else. So look into something like that. Being a traveling nurse, you could sign up with a big, a big one of those registries where they send people all over the place, or you could register with a specific kind of national healthcare system. I don't know if they have. I know Kaiser has. They use traveling nurses. So I'm sure some other hospitals and stuff do too. So I mean, just put some feelers out and see what's going on. Your market can't be that niche unless it's like rashes on your ass specialty or something. I don't know what to say. There's all kind of things you could do though to improve your situation as far as career prospects go. You a nurse, that's all you need. Just branch out from there. You be set. And our final question for the day, question 25. This young lady's 22 to 27 from Boston, Massachusetts. The male's also 22 to 27. Summary issue. I am tired of the battle of intimacy with my boyfriend. I am 24 and my boyfriend is 26, and we have been together for 3 years and we've lived together for about a year and a half. One of my big love languages is physical touch, not necessarily sexual, just any touch at all. His clearly is not. I know him better than anyone, and he truly is the love of my life, but I'm so tired. Okay, wait. So his love language is not touch, which yours is. I mean, how did you guys manage to make it to be 3 years into this? Okay, I got to see the kind of tolerance level you have for bullshit. I feel like I'm making things about physicality, but it's more than that. And I feel stuck and with deep hurt because I love him so much. But I feel like he would be fine if I was a floating orb with a little personality. And when we do the deed, there's never anything before anymore. It's just getting get nude, nook, and done. Like he does it just so to get it out of the way for a few weeks. We have also had the conversation about it bothering me for so many times, and nothing has changed. I'm really stuck on how to handle this, or if there's more going on that I should be worried about. Yeah, he might be into dudes, you know. I mean, this is something I used to when I first started doing this 30 years ago. I didn't really have to say that often. I mean, it's right around the time I was doing this. I started doing this stuff right around the time, not, well, I guess a few years before Elin Harris came out with that book called Invisible Life. And in Invisible Life, he exposed what we now call the down low men that present men who present as straight but like to have nook with other men. And they do it on the under and they do it quietly and nobody knows. They hide it. And they don't call themselves gay. They just, I don't know what they call themselves, but they like to go out and, dibble and dabble with other men here and there while they have a wife, while they have a girlfriend, while they have kids. And it was a big secret thing. I mean, if you could look it up on, just Google Elin Harris Invisible Life and look at the stories that came out in the 90s about that book. He was on every talk show and he was just all over the place and everybody was just gobsmacked because, nobody had ever heard of that before. So like was saying, prior to that, I didn't really provide this as a possible option. I mean, sometimes I thought it, because, after all, I grew up in San Francisco. I saw that shit every day. I grew up with it. But it wasn't as common, I don't think, as it is now. It's just people just be out in the open about it. And so you have a man who's supposed to be with you and he don't want to have intimacy with you. He does it like it's a chore. He's doing it somewhere. If it ain't with you, he got another woman or a man. So I'd be a little suspicious. So let's see what else is going on. Yeah, you see, you say you keep you had the conversation, and he the way he does it's like he wants to get it over as quick as possible. He's not really languishing in experience. He's not like a man who loves making love to his woman and just can't get enough of you. He's treating it like it's a chore, like washing dishes. He's doing it, and then he got to get done and get roll out. So that is very telling to me. That's makes me think his flavor is not women. So at the beginning of our relationship, we never had any issues on me having to ask for things. Now I have to ask him to hug me, to play with my hair, touch my butt even. For like the last year, we've never had nook without me initiating either. Yeah, see what I mean? It's just getting more and more he into dudes. I generally don't think I'm ugly by any means. I just don't understand. Emotionally, he's a dream man. He works hard, he's responsible, and he's kind and he's smart. But physically, it's like I'm not dating anyone anymore. I've never felt so physically undesired in my life. It generally hurts my heart. Like, why doesn't he want to embrace me and give me a kiss all on his own? Because your name ain't Chad. If your name was Tommy, Chad, or Bruno, he'd be all over you. Girl, I mean, okay, whether that's true or not, like I said, I'm just talking shit and, conjecturing. But what is the reality though? The reality is that you need something else from this man that he's not giving you. You need affection, which is not out of the question for adult romantic relationship. You need some passion. You need some affection that's, just casual, non-sexual affection. None of what you're asking for is out of the chart, unrealistic, just too weird or anything like it's just normal stuff. Your guy, though, doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to give it to you, and it's been over a year that you've been dealing with this torture. Now, at some point, you have to accept the fact that the relationship that you imagine yourself having, the relationship that you want, is not the relationship that you have. The relationship that you want, you're not going to get it, not from him. So once you accept that, girl, I know some women probably would do. He might be doing that too. Oh, look, Sliver. He might be doing that, but something tells me. Because even the dudes who do the popcorn sites, they kinda, yeah, some of them do that, but then some of them will like watch the popcorn while they do, things with the girl, or they just watch it as fresh in their mind or whatever. They use like to get their engine running, and then they do what they need to do. Yeah, but this has been over a year that she's been dealing with this. Um, and she said she's had so many conversations about it, but nothing has changed. You know, yeah, they lived together a year and a half, and this has been. She said over the last year we never had anything, no nothing without me initiating. So that means for over a year, unless she, asked for it, he wasn't volunteering to do anything physical with her. That's the part that where I'm getting stuck, because that's the part that to me means his interest lies elsewhere. So but he hasn't broken up with her. This is going to be on you, girlfriend. You're the one that's unhappy. The one who usually who's the one who writes the column is the one who's usually unhappy, and that's the one that I advise. Like, if you're not getting what you need out of a relationship, you need to leave the relationship. It's not hard. It's not rocket science. It's not a big deal. I believe it. Girls like 98% of men, period, are dabblers. Seem like it's just more and more dudes I hear talking about it. It's just like, wow. Or they present as, they just a little bit too sugary or something. I don't even know how to say it, but you can tell they ain't 100% hetero, because the way they move, the way they purse their lips, they just be doing stuff that just don't look right. Y'all ladies know what I'm talking about. They just be doing just stuff that just don't look right. It's extra, and their voice don't be sounding right. The way they move don't be looking right. It's just a whole bunch of stuff. If you tune in, you can tell it. You can tell it. That's what I call them. I don't call them down low. I call them dabblers. It's I think it's a more comprehensive term, because, they be dabbling. I just feel like I just feel like, you're not getting what you need. I don't understand why you're still there. That's my bottom line. I know you've been, you guys feel like, well, I've invested all this time. You need to look at my video called the sunk cost fallacy, where women feel like, well, I put 3 years into it, and they don't want to give up because they already invested 3 years. That's what's called the sunk cost fallacy. You're investing more of your good life energy and your time and money and your emotions in a shit situation that ain't gonna never change, just because of the time that you already put in. Whereas you should put the brakes on that shit and let it, okay, it was 3 years. It shouldn't be 3 years in a day. Okay. But you let it be 3 years in another year, another 18 months of this shit. So you think about that, and how you can extricate yourself from this situation, since you done made the mistake of moving in with this boy. You have to move out. He's not giving you what you want, and you've been talking until you blue in the face. Nothing has changed. So when are you going to accept that nothing is ever going to change, and this is not the man for you? You need somebody who's going to be all over you and returning your affection freely, and who just relishes being with you, who wants to be surrounded by your energy, who can't get enough of you. He wants to just sit there and stare at you. He wants to touch you, kiss you, hug you. That's what you want. And you're not going to get that in this situation. So you're wasting away your youth on a man who's just not going to meet your needs, your emotional and physical needs. I don't understand why you feel like you need to sacrifice. Oh, he would have been gone. You right, Candace. He would have been gone like smoke. He would have disappeared so fast. So but women have this need. I just don't understand it. This need to feel like they're sacrificing for love, and they gave it their all, and oh my god, I just really love him so much, and they just stay with men who aren't loving them the way that they need to be loved. And I just don't get it, because I've been accused of leaving too fast, because they do one stupid thing and say one stupid thing that turns me off. I'm out. I don't have time for this, because I feel like at my age, when you hit 50, it's like you feel like any man that you meet, he oh no, he should be like raised by now. It shouldn't be my job to raise you. You know what I mean? Your parents didn't do it. Your prior woman, your ex-wife, your previous girlfriends didn't do it. I'm not gonna do it. So, this some shit you should have been finished with by the time you hit 25, 30 at the latest. So you talking 20 years later and you still think somebody was teaching you something about how to treat a woman? Oh, hell to the no. I'm done. I'm out. I'm telling you, that road runner beep beep, boom, be gone. I just can't. I cannot. I don't understand it. Nobody's ever been able to explain it to me either. This desire that women have to just sacrifice themselves for men and for relationship. I didn't get that memo. I'm not gonna do that. So anyway, I'm glad you guys are able to show up for this early show. See, we're gonna be finished before I would even start the 6 o'clock show. But I'll probably be taking a nap about 7:30, 8 o'clock. I'd be sleepy. But I guess the next time I see you guys, it'll be like 2026. Wow. And again, one last time, that QR code up in the corner there you see on the screen, that is the QR code to take you directly to the submit advice submission form. It's a little form that you submit your advice question on. So you scan that, click the link, and then fill out the form and submit your question for the upcoming column. The next show will be on Sunday, and I'll probably start at around 3. I don't know, whatever. Just be sure to hit the subscription button so you subscribe to the channel. You get the instant notification whenever I decide that I'm gonna start the show. But it's gonna be Sunday on sometime at some point. And until then, I will see you guys back in 2026. 2025 has been a blast. I've enjoyed having all of you in my life. I hope you have a pleasant New Year's Eve and your New Year's Day with all your traditional soul food fixing, your collard greens, your what you call them, black eyed peas and your cornbread. Gotta have that on the first. All right. So see you guys later.